Hey guys, today we'll be working on Power BI project using a data from US visa statistics. Today we will see how to extract the data, how to clean the data, and how to transform the data, and how to create a custom column using DAX. Then after cleaning and transforming the data, then we will visualize the data. We'll create a report using map fill visual. Then we will use grading to reflect the range. Then we will use drill down feature for interactive report. Then at the end we will publish the report to the Power BI service. So I have done this project but once already. Now I am gonna redo it to show this in the video. So here's the data source. This is the website of the travel.state.government United States website from where I got the data of non-visa issuance by visa class and by nationality. This data is ranging from 1997 to 2023. It's a huge data set in Excel spreadsheet, which is good. So you can download this data and follow along. I'll put the link of this. I'll put this link in the description below. What you have to do is, and before you do that, I highly recommend you to open the Excel spreadsheet because I have already gone through all the data set, so I know what is there in that spreadsheet. So as a matter of fact, I can also show you. Yeah, this is the spreadsheet. So this spreadsheet is having like all the data from 1997 to 2023. This is like showing the fiscal year and visa type and how many visas were issued and which country and everything. So once you review the data set, you'll get to know that what are the columns and what are the fields which you can use to visualize. So what we should usually do is, what I usually do is, when I start working on a project, you should have like a clear picture of what you're gonna do. I mean, you should know what are you gonna visualize, how are your report gonna look, and what exactly will be the design and how you are gonna work on your report. Keeping that in mind, you have to just clean and transform the data. So once you open a Power BI desktop, you'll get these options to select a data source or start with a blank report. So you can select a data source for Excel workbook here, or you can do a blank report and then select a data source. Let's directly select Excel workbook here for our data source, and the window will open. If you select a blank report, then that will take you to this page, and then you have to again select the data source Excel. So this is the data set which I downloaded, that is fiscal year 97 to 23 non-immigrant visa detail table. I'll open this one. So after opening this data set, what will happen is a new window will pop up in Power BI. It will ask you for the two options. One is to load the data, or one is to transform the data. So when you load the data, it automatically is applied and you can start creating the visuals. But that's not what we want to do because the data is not cleaned yet. I'll show you what I mean by that. So here, just to simplify our report, I'm not including the data from 97. I'm just including the data from 2000 to 2023. So if we select from 2000, then we scroll down till 2023. You can just press Ctrl Shift and then you can click on fiscal year 2023. It will select all the other sheets along with fiscal year 2023. There you go. So now you selected all the tables which you wanted. Now here we have two options. Now we can load the data or we can transform the data. So we can also load the data and then we can transform it, but let's go directly to transform the data because these are a lot of tables, and if we load the data, Power BI will take a time like this. Alright, the data is processed now and it's loaded, and it will take us directly to the Power Query. So this is a Power Query editor. Here we can clean and transform the data. Okay, so as you can see, we have all the tables from fiscal year 2000 to 2023. So what we will do here is, we will first of all, so the thing is, we have to join all these tables and make one master table. So for joining the tables, there are two things we can do. One is merge queries and one is append queries. In the home tab, there is a section called combine. In this combine, you have two options. One is merge queries and one is the append queries. So merge queries will add the columns next to these columns. For example, this table has this column 1, column 2 and column 3. From this table, it will then add column 1, column 2, column 3 as column 4, column 5, column 6 in the first table. That's not what we want here. What we want to do is, we have to combine all these tables in one table, so that this column, this column, this column, this column, and all the values on this table and the other tables should come under this column. It should be combined. I hope that makes sense. So before combining, we have to make sure that the column names and their format, I mean the way they are written, should exactly be the same for this to work properly. So you have to double check all the column names in all the sheets. So what we'll do here is, we will change this fiscal year to country, and we will add a custom column. We will name this custom column as year. So this is from fiscal year 2000, so we will add here 2000 and we will say OK. So we got a new custom column which says this data belongs to 2000, year 2000. And then we will remove all the unnecessary columns. We are only working on the F1 visa, and we may need the other visa categories. We will just keep H1 or B1, B2, so that we can, after creating a report, we can just play around with the visa categories and create another report. But that one you can do it later. So first we will just select which columns you want. For example, we want in this country, and I want so make sure your holding the control button and then clicking this, so that both all of them will be selected at once. We want B1, B2, we want B2, we want F1, we want F2, then we need H1B, and then we need H4. Okay, then what you have to do is you have to go to the home tab, and under this section reduce rows, you have an option to remove rows. I'm sorry, in manage columns you have an option to remove columns and choose columns. So I'll click on this small arrow button and I'll just click remove other columns. What will this do is this will only remove keep the columns which we select, and it will remove the rest of the columns. If you say remove columns, it will remove the columns which are selected. No, we don't want to do that. So we'll say remove other columns. There you go. So now you have only few columns which you will work on, and I think I forgot to select country year column, because we also need that. If you forgot something, then you can just click the small setting button here. It will open a window like this, then you can select whichever column you want and then you can click OK. So now we got country, B1, B2, F1, H1, H4, all the visa categories which we need, and the year and all the columns. This data is now somewhat organized and clean and transformed. Now we have to repeat this process in all rest of the sheets. So there are two ways to do that. You can either do that manually in all the sheets one by one like you did, or what you can do is you can from here you can copy this code, or you can go to the advanced editor. Okay, so we started by renaming the columns, so you can just select all these, Control C. Okay, cancel this, go to fiscal year 2001, advanced editor. Okay, now here put a comma, shift and enter, and Control V, and remove this, and you can say done. This one we should change to 2001. Okay, then it's done. Alright, so this one is also applied here. So now we have country, we have the visa categories which we want. When you click the last step, it will show you the table which we wanted. But here we have to make a change. In add custom, it should be 2001, as this one is a 2001 sheet. Okay, so you can do this manually to all the sheets. Since I have already done it, I'll not do it again to save our time. After doing all that, you just click the first sheet in under the home tab, go to the combine section and click down this arrow and click append queries as new. If you just click append queries, it will just append all these tables into this table. If you click as new, it will create a new table, and that's what we want, and we want to make that as a master sheet with all the data in it. So I'll just close this data, close this window, and I'll open the one which I already worked on just to save our time. There you go. So this is the dataset which I worked on, and I appended this one into one master sheet. So in all the tables are okay except in fiscal year 2022 and 23. You also have to rename the column names, as the format here was different before when compared to the other tables. You see here it's F1, but in other tables it's F-1, and you have to make sure the column names are exactly the same before you append this. So when you append this, all these columns are combined into one master sheet with all the countries, the visa categories, and the years. Once I combined these sheets, I filtered the rows. What I filtered is I filtered out the name of the continents like Africa, Asia, Europe. There you go. I removed the null values. I removed the continent values, no nationality totals, and everything, which I don't need because I only need the country names over here. Why do I need that? You will get to know now in the when we go to the visualizations page. So after this, or doing all this cleaning and transforming the data, you got a clean data set in one master sheet. You can just click close and apply. It's already applied to my sheet, so I'll just close it. Once you apply, the data will load here. So this is the report which I have already created, and I'll show you how I did that stepwise. So before creating this report, we'll go to the table view. So there are two custom columns which I added here using DAX. So if you remember, we added these columns from the dataset: country, visa, these visa categories, and the year. Now what I want to do is I want to calculate the percentage of F1 visa issued per country. So in order to do that, what I did is first I calculated the total number of F1 visas issued per country per year. Okay, I used a DAX formula here. I just gave it a name as total F1 visas per year. Then I used the function calculate, and then I added the F1 visa, some sum of all F1 visa, and I use this function called all except from this table. And here what this will do is this will give you a value here. For example, in 2000, this country, not this country, in year 2000, these are the total number of visas issued. In 2001, these are the number of visas that are issued, and so on and so forth. Why do we need this? Because we need to take out the percentage per country against the total F1 visas per year. So I added another custom column where I divided the F1 visa by total F1 visas per year, and I got the percentage of visas issued for that country. Obviously, because there was no visa issued, the percentage is zero. But if we filter any uh, country which issued the visa, for example, here South Sudan issued 40 F1 visas in 2017 against 393,495 visas at 0.01%. So on and so forth. We added these two custom columns in the table view. So in order to add the custom column, I'll also show you that how to do it. So you just have to do the column sorry, you have to go to the home, and you just have to click new column. You see it says write a DAX expression that creates a new column in the selected tables and calculate values for each row. So after clicking the new column, it'll you can go here and then you can write a DAX measure of whatever column, whatever is your requirement. I will create a separate video about the DAX measures and how many types of DAX measures do we have and how many functions do we have. That we will keep it for a separate video. After doing all this, we go to the report view. Then what we did is we have two visuals here for map. One is map and one is field map. So what we did is we use the field map here. In order to add that, you just have to click this field map. Okay, and after using that field map, we just dragged the columns which we needed, and here if you see there is a small globe which is shown beside the country. Normally Power BI will identify the country name, but what I did is I just click this country column and it will take me to the column tools. Here I'll just categorize this data as a country. So now for Power BI, I also gave a category that this column contains all the country names. Even if you don't do that, that's okay, because the Power BI will automatically uh, identify the country names. So you have to just click and drag this country name to location. Now you can see it highlighted all the countries which are available in this column. And then we can go to this format your visual, and I can change the map settings to Arial so that it will just have a much better look. Okay, and then what I will do is I will add F1 visa in the tooltip. So this will show me a country and number of total F1 visas issued from 2000 to 2023. If you just move your cursor around, it will give you the tooltip. Now I also want to show percentage here below the sum of F1 visa. So what I'll do is I'll just drag this again to the tooltip and I'll click this and I'll say show values as percentage of grand total. So now you can see here, if I hover my mouse over this country over here, this is Mongolia, China. So China has, for America has issued total of 2,241,849 F1 visas since 2000 to 2023, which is 25.66% overall. For Australia, it's just 0.48%, and for India, it's 11.73%. Great. Now I'll add a slicer here. Slicer, what it will do is it will help me filter out whatever year data I want to see. So after adding the slicer, I'll just add year in the fields, and there you go. I have all the years here. Now will just do a little bit formatting and select the slicer settings. We'll say we need to show select all, so that when we click select all, we are getting the data for all the years from 2000 to 2023. Now let's say we only want to see the data for 2023. If we click on 2023, this will reflect the data of 2023. For example, it was 11.3% something overall in India. Now it will change to 29.35%, and this are the total number of visas issued to Indians to come on F1 visa to United States. That's 130,730 visas in 2023. That's huge. Okay, now you see here we have all the colors in blue. How should, it's very hard to identify that, which hard to identify the outlier, like which is the topmost country with F1 visas and which is the next one with F1 visas. So in order to change that, what we can do is we'll just select this uh, visual, and then we can go to fill colors. Here you can see it's a default blue color, so we can just click this small function button here, and in the format style we can select a gradient. So there you go, the lowest one will be light blue and the darkest one will be dark blue, and we can give this any other color like this, and we can also add a middle color. Okay, if we click OK, then you'll see that all the colors are changing. So darker. Let's see. Oh, count of country. Then we should select here what field should we base this on. So we want this to be based on F1 category, sum of F1. And how should we format the empty value? The empty value you can consider as 0. Okay, the lowest will be with this color, and the middle will be this color, and the highest will be this color. Okay, done, great. When we click OK, there you go. Now you have that. By only seeing this map, you know that the whole world India and China are the top most countries where number of students, like more number of students are gone to US. Especially in 2023, it's 19% from China and it's 29% from India. So that's why this Indian map is highlighted in dark pink. Let's see 2022 now. In 2022, still India is 28% and 15 China is 15%. In 2021, see, it's this one is darker now. It's like 25.2 and it's 22%. In 2020, let's say in 2014, see, China is darker because it was like total 41% of the visas were issued to the Chinese in 2014. That's a lot. You can use this slicer and the map visual to see how you can format it. The next thing what we can do is we can build a drill through. For example, if I want to see the data about India only, I can enable this option drill through. In order to enable that option drill through, what you have to do is you have to go to add data to your visual, you scroll down and you see you have to turn on this cross report, and you can see here it's written add drill through fields, drill through fields here. So what you have to do is first you have to create a separate table visual where you can see the data of each country each year, and then you can visualize it with a bar chart, and then you can connect both these two tables. I'll show you how I did that. So I created another page for this analysis. Okay, and here you can see from 2000 to 2023 we have all the data as a column chart. As a column chart we have all the data, and also this data is in the table format here. That's country, some number of total number of F1 visas issued, and what's the percentage and what's the year. After doing this, we have to add these column names down here in the drill through section, like country, India, or year. Then we have to do the same in our this area, this reports area. So what this will do is this will enable the drill through. For example, I just want to see the data of China. I'll go here, I'll say drill through. It will pass on the filter to this visual. You see, this table is changed now. We have all the data from China and the sum of data and the percentage. But keep in mind here, for showing the percentage, I'm not just adding a quick measure like we did in this sheet. In fact, you remember we created a custom column to create the percentage. I'm just adding that percentage here, because if I add do percentage like this, which I did in the map visual, probably it's not gonna work in this visual. So I just added this percentage here, and see, we can also double check in 2023 it's 19.3 visa 30% 19.30% of visas issued to Chinese. Is that true? I believe so. So in China, and what was that year, 2023, it's 19.3%, exactly right. And I just formatted this sheet and this sheet, and here you go, our report is ready. After this we can just publish this report. We can click publish and it will open a window It will ask you to save the changes. Yes, save. Then you can publish the power this report to the Power BI service if you have a school or work account. And in Power BI service it will look like this. And if you drill through in the Power BI service like this, it will automatically take you to the second page, and it will show you all the data from the selected country, and you'll also get a back button here to go back to the main page. This is where you can share the report with the users or the stakeholders. That's all for today, guys. If you like this video and if you have any comments regarding this project, you can comment down in below this video. Like, share and subscribe to my channel, and share this with someone who are working on Power BI projects so that they can also learn from this. Thank you so much.